Nate McMurray here. It is June 2nd, 2026, beautiful in Buffalo. I'm here with Tony O. Tony, how are you doing?
Oh, never better, Nate. Never better. I'm feeling especially pumped that the Trump's anti-weaponization fund is dead, according to the actor, his acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, and former criminal attorney who defended him during the impeachment trials.
And put Ghislaine Maxwell in a minimum security prison. Let's not forget her.
Exactly. Yeah, actually meets with her, I think, for like 2 8-hour sessions, and had nothing to report to us.
And didn't interview any of his accusers. It's insane stuff.
But wait,
it's insane
Nate,
stuff.
But wait.
Yes, sir.
This is almost the equivalent of Ginsu knives if you order right now, because Pam Bondi
George Floyd's
Byron Brown.
Israel brought
testimony on the Epstein files this week to Congress in a closed door session. And when they asked probing questions,
yeah, she's like, it's, and also she was being represented by the Justice Department, even though she's not a Justice Department employee. Whole thing was weird, totally weird. I need to fix your,
the shape-shifting, people he had around him, who were picking out his outfits.
Who? Tell me.
Bill Gates.
Who are picking out his image continues to crash.
He has a team of people whose job was to shape his image, and they wanted him to appear to the public as
harmless,
as a Mr. Rogers type of figure. So they had the V-neck sweaters, the crew neck sweaters. They had all the outfits picked out for him. So he's making any appearances, he was going to have project a certain type of look.
Right.
They also wanted to burnish his image for things. They really wanted to control the narrative about him. And now, once these disclosures have come out about him, Warren Buffett, don't forget Bill Gates was on the Berkshire Hathaway board, and Buffett was making very substantial charitable contributions to the Gates Foundation. As soon as the divorce hit and these Epstein disclosures came out, Buffett says, I haven't talked to him since these disclosures came out. And he then was supposed to appear at a variety of different events. And they pretty much told him it would be best, including Microsoft, by the way, company he helped found, said it would be best if you did not come. And he's sort of been shunned societally.
Good. He deserves it. I mean, it's sad that he's more shunned by society than our president is. But we can talk about that too. Let's talk about this though. You're an economics guy. For those listening, Tony O, celebrated financial expert. Gold has overtaken U.S. bonds as the world's favorite investment. Tourism to the United States is dropping to an all-time low. You know how dependent our region is on tourism. I was recently talking to a local media person who said, Nate, why do you get so upset about Trump? Our leadership here is the same and it doesn't affect us locally. I'm like, are you dumb? It affects us locally. Do you know how many people are not coming to Niagara Falls because of Trump? Do you know how many of our farms are closing because of Trump and Trump's tariffs? It absolutely affects us locally. Now, I had another guy tell me the other day, hey, no matter who I vote for, I still got to put my lock key in the door and turn the key. I'm like, yeah, the fundamentals of human existence do not change, but your mortgage rate might change. The fact that the opportunities your children or grandchildren have might change. Things do change. Leadership does affect our lives, and Trump is massively affecting our lives and ruining the reputation of the United States.
Yeah, and as a border town, the Canadians have decided to boycott our liquor. They've decided to boycott shopping over here. The administration, I don't have any proof of this, but I can just tell you from my own experience. If you go to the bridges, we have at the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, we have 9 separate gates that you can go through. Staffing's less than half of that, and that is, that's just a specific administrative type of thing, which I think is viewed as sort of a harassment. Bottom line, we're not getting we've had, in the past $60 billion of commerce between the two countries. I have an integrated economy, and it's just
But
unfortunate
Tony, to
that,
my point, this guy is affecting us negatively. He is affecting our lives. This is not just theater on television. There
well,
are
it's not
terrible
theoretical.
things happening that are hurting people that live right here.
It's not theoretical, but how many people are interested in just looking the other way? How many people, Nate, who've got higher gas prices, and they know they're taking it in the wallet, and they say, well, it's the price we have to pay for not having a nuclear weapon in Iran.
Yeah, but nobody really believes that. I mean, your rich friends believe that maybe because they don't have to face reality. But working people, I think, are like, listen, this is all crazy. It needs to end. We can't go on like this. Would you not agree with that?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's two things that can be true at the same time. What you say is exactly true. And the fact is, probably 80% of people who voted for this administration would continue to vote for it again.
Well, that's sad. Truly sad.
Right? Right?
Every time I do a live on TikTok, by the way, someone says we are bullying.
Bullying what? What are we bullying?
I just got a notification that said your TikTok has been limited because you're bullying. Who are we bullying? What did we say?
Wait a minute. Who decided this? The Chinese?
Well, no, it's owned by the Ellisons now. So here, let's go into the videos. Ready?
All right.
I'm going to play a video from our own investigative post doing a video of their, of OTB. Now, for years, wait.
Nate, let people know what investigative
It's
post.
a local non-for-profit newspaper, online newspaper, for lack of a better term. And it's very important to the region because before the investigative post, or without the investigative post, we don't really have any type of investigative journalism anymore. The Buffalo News is basically some sort of cheerleader sheet for the Buffalo Bills in local sports. And all these other local papers are closing. I heard some unfortunate news about the one out in Lockport today. And we're starting to live in a news desert locally where people don't have access to local news. So the investigative post does really good work in general. It doesn't mean I agree with everything they say, but in general, they have helped inform the region. And this guy, Schumacher, you've read his stuff, right?
Yeah, he was the F1 driver, right?
No.
Oh, no, it's a different show. Only kidding.
He's been on the case. He's not from Buffalo. He's from Ohio or something. But he's been on the case of the OTB for a while. Now, the OTB, for those who don't know, is the Off-Track Betting Corporation, the Western Regional Off-Track Betting. Quick nutshell explanation. We used to have these pari-mutuel horseback racing places, and they were going out of business. So then sitting state senator, who was very powerful at the time, George Maziarz, struck a deal with the governor, who was Republican Governor Pataki, that we were going to revive these horseback racing places, which were really dens of criminal, activity. We're going to turn them into casinos. I lost you, Tony. Are you there? There you are. What happened? So we're going to turn them into casinos.
It's called shape-shifting.
We're going to give them what do you call
One-armed bandits.
Yeah, what do they call it? Slot machines. And they don't even call them slot machines. They call them something else because technically they're not allowed to have slot machines under the law, because under the contract with the Native American tribes to have casinos, they're allowed to have slot machines and these other places are not. So anyway, they found some loopholes and redefined things to allow them to have slot machines at the casino, and they made it a public entity, a quasi-public entity. And since then, with this, the design of this was to stop corruption, to get rid of crime, to make these things more legitimate and bring money back to the communities that host these horseback racing places. And what has happened instead is they've just become dens of political criminality.
Patronage.
Yeah. And, or alleged criminality, I should say. At least malfeasance and mismanagement. So what happened was when the Republicans controlled it, they appointed all their friends and buddies and friends and family. And these casinos became, it's just horrible. Like horrible things where all these rejects from Republican politics would get a job or get a contract or get whatever. But now they passed a law making it so you can no longer control it. The rural Republican committees can no longer control the OTB. Now it's controlled by the Democrats. So what did the Democrats do? You think they cleaned it up, Tony?
Absolutely not, because the only difference, Nate, between Republicans and Democrats is their cologne and the underarm deodorant.
Well, and also the fact that they have a bona fide authoritarian as the president, and the Republicans love it. But
again, Nate, if we just go to the OTB, the power structure of it, let's say Democrats or Republicans are in charge of it. Who has oversight over the administration?
Well, they have a board. They have a board
appointed by
the local. Previously, it was the local regional legislatures. So they would appoint the board. So in a place like Niagara County, where you have 100% Republican, almost 100% Republican legislature, of course they picked one of their crony buddies to be on the board, and they did it again recently with Henry Wojtaszek being reappointed, the guy that used to be the president or CEO or whatever he was over the OTB. But when they changed the law, they gave the power to appoint the board to the cities, basically, to the Democratic cities. So the Democratic cities appointed, they chose as the new leader of the OTB, Byron Brown. And Byron Brown brought in his second command from the city of Buffalo and others. Let me just play this clip so people can understand. Come on, play, you stupid clip.
George Floyd's family.
Here we go.
Byron Brown, the former mayor of Buffalo, is solidifying his control of Western Regional off-track betting. One of his former deputy mayors is his chief of staff at the publicly owned gambling agency.
Steve Casey is his chief of staff.
Another of his deputy mayors,
Crystal Rodriguez Dabney is the chairwoman of the board of elections.
The former CEO, Henry Wojtaszek, has ended his bid to join the board of directors. That's because there's new state legislation, passed as part of the budget, that bans former OTB executives from joining the board for a period.
So the new state legislation says you cannot be a former OTB executive and be on the board. So Henry has given up. He's given up his quest to be back on the board. So you have this woman that was, I don't even know what her position was. Let me see, what was her position
Period
again?
Of 5 years. Sources tell investigators.
I don't know. Basically, Steve, all of Byron Brown's, I think her last name is Dabney, Rodriguez Dabney, I think. She, by the way, I've met her before. She was incredibly rude to me at a Democratic committee meeting once.
You're kidding me. Really? Why would she do that, Nate?
Incident involving
Doesn't she know who you are?
May have had something
No,
to do
I didn't know who she was, and she acted like this was one of the greatest offenses in history. How am I supposed to know who the deputy mayor of the city of Buffalo is?
We've got all these details.
I said I would work with the mayor when I could, but I was basically criticizing the mayor, and therefore they didn't like this at this meeting, and then she let me have it.
The former
By the way,
mayor
Nate,
of
if you ever get
Buffalo
caught in a
is
position
solidifying
like
his
that
control
again in
of
the
Western
future,
Regional
I
off-track
can give
betting.
you some
One of
advice.
his former
What's
deputy
the advice?
mayors is his
Well, if
chief
she
of
gets to
staff
be
at the
incredulous and
publicly
says,
owned
I
gambling
can't believe you
agency.
don't know who I
Another
am,
of his deputy
just say, I'm so sorry. My stone started to move, and I'm in incredible pain.
How many people do you think in Western New York knew who Crystal Rodriguez Dabney is?
I would say probably 99.5%.
Do not know.
Would not know.
Yeah, well, she acted like I didn't know who the president was or something. I was like, sorry, I didn't know who you were.
Well, Nate, you're passing a stone. I'm sorry. I'm in agony.
She was so rude to me. She acted like you don't know who I am. I was like, no, well, now I know who you are. You're the head of the regional, the OTB, the casino. Isn't it outrageous that all these failed people? I mean, let's be honest. The city of Buffalo failed. It's completely in debt, right? It's begging for more money to be functional. You can complain about the city of Niagara Falls all day long. City of Niagara Falls isn't constantly begging for $100 million a year from the state of New York. I mean,
that's on top of everything they're getting from the state of New York. This is just a structural budget gap that the city has because of Byron Brown's mismanagement.
And Byron Brown and also Crystal Rodriguez Dabney and Steve Casey and all those people, that team of clowns that were running this, who gave them the power to suddenly run a casino?
Well, listen, my friend, why don't we just back up just a little bit and ask the following question. You've been in business. I'm in business. If you say I've got someone who is running an enterprise.
I'm in business too, by the way.
I got that.
I'm listening to you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, do you know who I am, Nate? So listen, you're running this enterprise for 20 years.
Yep.
And at the end of 20 years, you're leaving with $103 million structural deficit. Do you mean to tell me anyone in their right mind would hire you for, let alone give you a pay increase? But that's exactly what happened. That shows you how
They have
incompetent.
less responsibility, less responsibility, and more money.
Well, wait a
And
minute.
they're
They
out.
do commercials.
What do these folks from Buffalo have to do with Batavia anyway? Like, why are they running a rural casino? What does
Well,
Steve Casey know about a rural casino? Isn't he from South Buffalo? Isn't Byron Brown from the Bronx or something like that? Why is he here? Go ahead.
Listen, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I'm going to do it here.
Go ahead.
Today, Tulsi Gabbard had to resign as the director of national intelligence because her husband has cancer, and she said she wanted to spend time with him, taking care of him. So the director of national intelligence, 17 different intelligence agencies report to the DNI. All right, very complex CIA. We've got
Right.
plate all over the world. Okay, you need experience in it. So let me ask you this: President just added, a new acting director of national intelligence. And who would that be?
Some random guy I saw. He doesn't know anything about anything. He looks like a dope.
Yeah.
He looks like some hayseed. Go ahead.
His name, he's not a he's a billionaire. His name is Bill Pulte.
Yeah, he looks like you're a billionaire. Why can't you get a good haircut?
I don't know. Pulte Homes. He's a home builder. And by the way, he was in charge of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which he's still going to be doing. And he's going to be now the anchor.
I hate to break it to
17
y'all.
different
There's
intel
nobody in control. There's nobody in control.
We have incompetence in all of these very, very important positions.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking
And
of
the one guy who
incompetence,
was
so I
competent-
shouldn't be so bothered that the guy who ran the city into the ground is running a casino making $300,000 a year or whatever.
It seems to be
George
par for the course is what
Describe
I'm
the
saying.
masculine.
I repent for
What I can do is
Germany.
talk about why this is the case. And the reason it is, I can put it to just one thing, which is one party rule. If you don't have that tension between two parties where they're checking each other, you're going to get people doing stupid stuff like we've had right here. You need to expose the incompetence before it even happens. Okay?
Yeah, I agree. Let me play this clip. Now, listen, have we covered enough local stuff for a second?
Mhm.
We covered Byron Brown running the OTB. Goodbye, Republicans. Hello, Democrats. Hey, new boss, same as the old boss. How does that song go? The Who?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Say hello to the new boss, same as the old boss. Something like that. I'm screwing it up, but you get the point.
I know the
You want to
tune.
talk anything about local stuff, or you want to move on? Because I want to talk about some national stuff.
Local stuff. I would like to know what's gone on. By the way, Micron has been, it's a chip maker. They make dynamic RAM chips, and this is the latest sort of unicorn for the AI revolution. And it's now the latest $1 trillion company. New York State's supposed to be, I think, putting $20 billion into a plant, a Micron plant over the next, I think, 7 to 10 years. And I haven't heard much about it, except, that stock has gone through the roof.
Where is the Micron plant supposed to go?
I thought it was around Syracuse.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. But I'm going to move on, Tone, because that's a freaking boring subject that I don't know anything about. You should give me some heads up so I can research it.
All right. Oh, well, what we could do is talk about the city of Buffalo. Is the mayor wanted to have a 25% property tax increase. And through, magic, the city council has reduced it to, I think, 18.5%.
Listen, the city of Buffalo is in dire straits. All right? It is.
Yeah.
There's no economic base. There's no future plan. They get super excited because a park opened. It's like, can someone explain to me, like, they had a park there. Like, what's the point of building a $300 million new park? Like, just stuff like that. It's always smoke and mirrors. There's really no long-term vision or goal for the city, but we're constantly told how it's just around the corner. This bright new day for Buffalo.
Well, next thing locally, Catholic Church, can we touch on that for a minute?
What? Tell me.
They've been going through this bankruptcy for, I don't know, 6-7 years, longest bankruptcy, of a Catholic diocese in the United States. Now, 2 years ago,
because let's be honest, because a bunch of priests molested kids.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the Sacklers with the channeling agreement that the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, decided to disallow. And that was about 2 years ago in 2024, in June, I believe, of 2024. And what that means is that for the diocese, their position was that if all these parishes sign on to the bankruptcy and they go through this thing, then the parishes could not be sued individually. So 2 years ago, that's called a channeling agreement. 2 years ago, the Supreme Court disallows that. And only this week, the diocese says, well, actually, we looked at some other dioceses and they've got a prepackaged bankruptcy. So if we get all the parishes to sign on to this thing, they will go bankrupt for 2 days, for 48 hours. And then, you're not going to be subject to, potential lawsuits down the road. My question.
So they're using some legal stratagem to get out of the liability for all of this stuff.
They're trying to preserve assets. My point is, why were you paying attorneys for the past 2 years who continue to push?
Are you a Catholic?
I am.
All right. And what do you feel about all this? Like, you're angry? You're happy?
Oh, I'm disgusted, Nate. I mean, I really am.
You're disgusted because?
Well, I'll tell you why I'm disgusted. It's because, these are people of faith, and they didn't have any faith in us. They felt that they couldn't trust airing their laundry in front of us because we would stop donations. Now, all the laundries come out anyway, and guess what? They're not getting the donations. People are walking away from the church, and their reputation, their moral imperative has pretty much been.
But isn't the Catholic Church actually picking up membership right now because of Pope Leo and because of, that's what I read.
Well, I'll tell you what, his encyclical, I didn't read the whole.
Oh, I did. It's great. I didn't read the whole 44 pages or whatever, but it's pretty great.
Yeah, I've seen, I'll tell you what, this guy is current. He really is.
Do you see who he quoted in that encyclica? Is that how you say that?
Encyclical.
Did you see who he quoted in it? Gandalf.
Really?
And Tolkien was a very devout Roman Catholic, but it's very relevant that the Pope is quoting from a fictional book. It's pretty neat, actually. It's showing that he's taking inspiration from wherever it comes from. Let me move on to a different religious demonstration. So the country of Israel this week invited a bunch of weirdos from all over the world in to say how sorry they were for offending Israel. Let me play the clip for this.
I repent for Europe.
Korean government will stand with Israel.
Forgive us for all the things that we did that we did not support Israel.
Forgive the nation of Korea who spoken the word against Israel and people of Israel.
Okay. Lady, as someone who loves Korea, you're not doing us any favors or the Korean people any favors. These people are like crying over their love of Israel and how that somehow that the Israeli government, which is a secular government, has done something quite amazing. They've used the faiths of different Christian people to somehow guarantee blind support for whatever madness they're perpetrating. What's happening in Israel is shameful, evil, awful. What's happening in Lebanon is evil and awful. It is against all sorts of international laws about a just war. And these, I don't know who they're, this seems like they're just this dragging these religious leaders or these different leaders from across the world to apologize to the state of Israel. I don't know who's doing the PR for Israel. This just looks weird. It looks like a freak show.
Did you hear the clips from the phone call that the president made to Netanyahu?
Were you swearing at him? Yeah.
Yeah, I swearing at him. I'm keeping your fanny out of jail. Are you out of your mind? What are you doing? The president does everything except to say, listen,
I'm not paying for your country anymore.
Yeah, you do this again, we're stopping aid, period. And you need spare parts? Yeah, that's going to be off the table too.
Well, it's nice to see that
We're
Trump
going to do
admitted
that.
to the fact that this guy's a criminal and he's waging war to keep himself out of jail.
That's what he said.
I mean,
Even
we
the
all know,
president
but listen,
said-
these are the things we all know. But he dragged you into war, Trump, because you're a glory hog and you didn't want him to hopefully get or potentially get a win that you weren't part of.
But Trump's the only one who calls a spade, which says you're just doing this to stay out of jail.
He's the only one? Everyone says it.
Well, I'm just saying, you never heard of a president of the United States saying.
Well, they
just
released that
doing this
tape for a
war.
purpose because they know how
Right.
unpopular Israel is, and he's trying to show that he's independent. Why did we have this war in Iran? Because of Israel, right? That's what the
Right.
report. So, like, listen, I have no faith in either one of those complete idiots. Let me show you Graham Plattner. Graham Plattner talking about what it means to be a man.
Describe the masculinity that you represent.
I think it's just a healthy form of it, which is, look, I mean, I lift weights, I shoot guns. My background is obviously in the military. I work outside. Most of my hobbies are things that people tend to associate with like manly stuff, I guess. At the exact same time, I go to therapy. I have a very open sort of dialogue and emotional relationship with my wife. We have this concept of masculinity.
He's talking about how he has a soft side, but he also likes to lift weights and shoot guns. He doesn't ever talk about what I think what is the key component of masculinity? Let me ask you, what is the key component of what makes a man a man? There's all this debate about what masculinity is. What is the key component of masculinity?
I'm going to tell you, Nate.
Tell me.
To me, I think it's someone who can exhibit compassion, and I think it's someone who acts out of empathy rather than out of just brute strength. Rather than saying I can make you do something because I'm stronger than you. I think it's someone who is, who's willing to help those that are weaker. That's what I think.
I think it's service through strength.
Mhm.
If you're strong and you're able to use that strength, whether it's intellectually strong or otherwise, to help people in your life feel safer, that's what masculinity is. It has nothing to do with whether or not you like the UFC or lifting weights. It has nothing to do with masculinity.
I do like that
go ahead.
strength. I mean, you should be at Hallmark. That was a great.
Well, I've thought about it a lot because I wanted to be a good man for my family and for my kids.
It's concise.
Well, that's what it is. It's service through strength.
Yeah.
Because you can't be weak and be a man. Let's be honest. You have to be strong financially and otherwise.
Right.
And if you want to feel like a man, make yourself strong and help the people in your life that need it. Be secure so you're not constantly being jealous and ragey and weird, and help the people in your life. That's what it means to be a man.
So, Nate, if you get back to Plattner, he's just.
Go ahead, your thing. I might surprise you with my take on Plattner. Go ahead.
All right. This is just annoying in that they're throwing out bait that, well, if you like to do this or if I do that, you must be like me, therefore I'll vote for you. I still don't have a firm grasp on what this guy is going to do if he gets in and why that's important.
Yeah, whether we're tempting another, who's the bald guy, Fetterman here, who's like a cult of personalities built up around him, and then he gets in line and he's really just about himself. Listen, do I really care that he sent sexual messages to women years ago? No, I don't care at all. What do I care?
I don't either.
Wake
I
up.
know. What do you,
I thought you were going to say you care. What else what do you want to do? Do you want to put everyone's search history online? I mean, do you want to, anytime anybody flirted with a waitress in the history of their life, should they be, drawn and quartered? I'm sorry, life is messy and people do weird stuff sometimes. That's the least of my concerns in a country that we have Paxson in Texas, defending, he took a sexual predator out of jail. Here in Niagara County, they appointed a sexual predator allegedly to work in the government. I mean, these are major issues where people are being exploited. If a guy sends consensual sexting to somebody, what do I care?
Nate, I don't want to scare anyone out there, but
you sexually text many people on a daily. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, this is for off camera. Listen,
seriously.
Seriously. I went on a golf trip once.
And
they were all doctors.
Where?
male doctors,
Uh-huh.
okay? They were out of their mind. And I kept thinking, if people only knew, if their patients only knew, this is how they behave when they don't have the white coat on and they're doing X, Y, Z, they wouldn't walk, they'd run from these people. Now, I knew it because I was with them for whatever it was, 3 or 4 or 5 days. Most other people are not going to see that. But I'm telling you, people need to understand we're not electing saints and we're not electing sinners.
Yeah, listen, I in my experience, this is off subject, but I agree with your point. So many of the worst people I ever met were doctors. The American Medical Association is the one that has fought against universal health care for over 100 years to keep up rates high. In the words of Adam Smith, anytime two or three people of the same occupation get together, they do it to fix costs against the public. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. Same thing with the American Medical Association. If you look at what they've advocated for a long time, at the same time, they spend lots and lots of money for you to respect doctors and never question their judgment and to give them a certain priest class authority over planet Earth. And a lot of these guys are really egotistical megalomaniacs. Sorry to say that, but you've experienced it and I've experienced it too. Not to say all doctors are like that, but we're almost conditioned not to question them. Am I wrong about that?
I think that was truer in the past. But I think with the with the internet and with a lot of resources that people have, they can do a lot of in-depth research on things, and they can come in and be relatively well informed when they're working with a doctor. And again, we don't want to paint any specific occupation or profession as being good or bad. I mean, I know from a legal standpoint, the attorneys. There are attorneys that get into trouble from time to time, financial trouble, drinking trouble, whatever the case.
But everybody hates attorneys.
And there's a fund, right? Isn't there a fund that all attorneys contribute to so that they can take care of it quietly so we can maintain the reputation, generally speaking, of the law profession? Is that true or no?
Maybe. I'm not aware of such fund.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know that they do take measures to defend themselves and to defend the profession. Anyway, I think Graham Plattner, be careful of cults of personality regarding politicians. I'd vote for him over Susan Collins because she's a joke. But do I care that he sexted people? No. I also think it's interesting that Republicans are like, oh my gosh, can you believe he sent sexual text messages? Not only forget the hypocrisy regarding Trump and everybody else, at the same time that they're calling Tallarico low T Tallarico. Like they're like, this guy's got no testosterone. He might be gay. While they're bashing Plattner for being, demonstrating.
I think they said he was a transgender.
Well, he said there's 6 different types. Look at a lot of the stuff that Tallarico said in the past. Again, I didn't like the cult of personality that was forming around Tallarico either. It's like somebody gets anointed like he's the one. And then everywhere I go for 6 months, everyone's like, you should be more like Tallarico. It's like, it's like, can't I be like myself? Like, why do we need everyone to be like Tallarico? I'm not saying anything negative about Tallarico. I just hate. Years ago, it was Beto. Everyone, you should be more like Beto. And then it was like, it's always somebody that they, for 6 or 7 months, they annoyed as the second coming of the party or of the country. I think Tallarico's a fine candidate. I think he'll do just fine. Do I think some of the stuff that Tallarico said in the past is cringeworthy? Sure do. Super embarrassing and weird. Your thoughts?
I don't think Plattner. I mean, I think the Democrats could have done better than to draft him as a candidate, quite honestly. And furthermore, I really don't like the cult of personality, but let's face it, Nate, what do you do when you've got a presidential candidate who ran on no more foreign wars, I'm going to balance the budget, all these things that Trump ran on, the affordability, and
that are not happening.
Back every single one of them.
I agree.
Who do you believe?
I 100% agree. We got to get these guys out of there. So let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was proud to march in the Israel Day.
By the way, wasn't it refreshing in California?
George Floyd's family is trying to understand.
Isn't it refreshing that Gavin Newsom has to leave after 2 terms? And
it is refreshing.
In New York State and everywhere else, if they said, look, if we want to define public service, what that means is I'm giving you a lease, not an ownership, okay? I'm giving you a lease on this position for you to do something in 2 years or 4 years or 8 years.
Well, that's what it was
And
originally
that's
intended.
it.
That was originally intended by the founding fathers. And I will emphasize, I'm the only person in Western New York that I know of. If there's somebody else come forward that not only proposed but passed a term limits law. Now, it was on Grand Island, and it was repealed after I left office because that's how scumbags do it. But I passed it. I passed a term limits law. Can you believe that? As soon as I left, they're like, let's get rid of this. We need to stay in these jobs forever.
Right, so what was your term limit law? Was it 1 term, 2 terms?
I wanted to say you could only serve 1 term, but I ended up getting 2 terms in any one position. And the county clerk and the city clerk was removed from it because she had power. And she's like, I'm not going to be subject to any term limits law. I did this for 50 years. So, everything is like a horse
So
trading.
Nate, you were supervisor for what, 4 years?
Yes. So I was like, my whole thing was I only want to do 1 term. I'm done. 4 years is enough to be a town supervisor.
Yeah.
But what we negotiated was 2 terms in any one position. So theoretically, you could serve for 16 years on the town board, 2 years as a council person, or 2 terms as a council person, then 2 terms as supervisor. Right. But that's not what I wanted. But that's what we got. And then when I did it, then after the fact, they used their town attorney, which we all know the town attorney could say just about anything they ask him. This town attorney used to say to us, how do you want me to argue it? Meaning, like, I'll come up with an argument either way. Just tell me what you want me to argue. So whenever somebody says it's illegal, I'm like, you don't know how this stuff works, how legality works in America. There's arguments on both sides of the legality of this. This is not Hammurabi's code where it's black or white. It's like, you have to, that's why you go to court and make arguments. There's arguments on both sides. So they determined they didn't need to have this law anymore and they got rid of it.
So Nate, tell me, I never asked you about this, but you were in there for 4 years, and you decided not to run again. So my question is, did you decide not to run again because you accomplished what you had hoped to in 1 term, or was there some other motivation where you said, one and done?
Well, if you're asking, was I afraid to run again? The answer is no. I mean, I took on a way harder race by running for Congress in a red district. Yeah. I really felt, I remember saying to Jim, I go, Jim was my deputy supervisor. He was a wonderful person. And when I first won, I said, Jim, I never intended to do this. Let's make a list of all the things we want to get done. And we made a super ambitious list. And we got everything done in 2 years. And then I was like, the second 2 years, I got to make up new stuff because we got everything we wanted done in the first 2 years. So the truth of the matter is I was done with it. Now, and thinking about it now, there's more things I could have done, but there was only a certain amount of mental capacity I had to do that at such an intense level. So I was certain that whoever came next was able to do all those other things that, that could be extended on the work we already did. But the answer is, I think 4 years is enough. I think if you're in one of those positions for longer than that, a local position, you're milking it. And especially if you're not accomplishing anything, why do you want to stay in that position forever?
So Nate, just tell me this. Why is it that, and I haven't heard this question, but I mean, you raised a great point. You sat down with Jim Sharp and you said, look, let's create a list of what we want to accomplish. I just haven't heard any media people interviewing any of these candidates and say, can you give me a list of 5 things that you want to accomplish?
Well, why don't I come up with a list of 5 things I want to accomplish right now for Niagara Falls? I think for that district, I think we need to revitalize Art Park.
This is District 45, right?
Yeah,
145?
Revitalize Art Park. That's a big one. Our park is a world-class venue. It can be revitalized.
Okay.
Number 2, we have to revitalize the tourist area of Niagara Falls and expand it out to the community at large. And that means 1 street at a time. Number 3, I want to renegotiate the contract regarding the Seneca Nation and how much money we get. Number 4, I want to renegotiate the contract with the New York State Power Authority. Number 5, I want to renegotiate the contract with the state parks so we can get some more of the parking revenue. I mean, those things alone would make a huge difference to the region. Those things, there's a lot more I want to do, but those things are just off the top of my head, things that I want to do and want to get done.
Yeah. Well, I think, if you're able to pull that out, the question is, how do you get that message out to people? I mean, these are the big
we need money. We need fundraising money. So, I mean, if you want to give to our campaign, go to votemcmurray.com. Anyone who's listening to this, vote NateMcMurray.com. Every penny makes a huge difference. Let me play this. George Floyd family blames Kevin Hart roast over Devon Chauvin. Chauvin? How do you say that guy's name? Who killed George Floyd? Did you see this? They did a moment of silence for him.
And what they're calling an insane move by Minnesota Republicans after a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin, and they suspect the Kevin Hart roast played a role here. As we previously reported, Minnesota GOP delegates held a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis officer convicted in the of George Floyd. Travis Keynes, a spokesperson for the Gianna and George Floyd Foundation, tells TMZ the family sees the Minnesota.
So what do you think of a moment of silence for a guy who killed somebody in the street who said, "I can't breathe, get off my neck, I'm dying"?
Sounds nuts to me. Same thing. This is sort of, like this $1,776,000,000 fund.
Byron Brown, the former mayor of
Israel brought Christian delegates from
because Donald Trump. They beat on cops. They had legal representation. They were indicted. They were convicted, and they were jailed. And yet somehow it wasn't their fault.
Listen, the cops have a lot of authority. They have the authority. They're given qualified immunity in America, which means for most of the things they do, they have immunity for it. If they're well-intentioned, a jury found this guy guilty of homicide or some level of homicide. I'm not manslaughter or something. I don't know the exact conviction. Why would you feel the need to honor such a person? Do you believe in our criminal justice system or not? Now, you might be able to make the argument, well, listen, the sentence was severe. Like, he didn't understand. I don't know. I don't know all the details of the case. But this was a moment that everybody saw on TV. Every one of us saw.
Yep.
And anybody with a conscience, it's nothing about how great or valuable George Floyd was. I don't know anything about him as a person. But I don't care who he is. He's a human life. I don't care if he was, a raging criminal. Human life is valuable. This is why the Pope is against the death penalty, for example, or the Catholic Church is, because we believe in the value and sanctity of human life. To treat human life so flippantly for one, even the worst of us, is reflective of a society that treats all human life as disposable. And that's what was repulsive about it, is that it was treating, it was indifferent to human life, which was a terrible thing to see in real time and shocked all of us. The revisionist history is troubling.
And people should be concerned about it, right? Because it's a very slippery slope. If somebody, some legislature, whatever it is, they decide that, well, this life is expendable or that one is expendable. Guess what? Someday they may be putting you in the crosshairs and saying, your life is expendable.
Yeah, adios, buddy. A trillion. Listen, I was reading online a Facebook post by one of these right-wing sites. It said something to the effect that, remember, big government, it can take everything from you at any moment. And I'm like, yeah, are you talking about the $1 trillion ICE budget? I mean, like, what do you mean by big government? The ICE budget is bigger than the budget for than most militaries. What are you talking about? Like, I'm afraid of big government too. I'm not afraid of big government trying to make sure people don't starve to death in the streets of the richest country in the world. I'm afraid of a police state.
That's really what the administration is trying to create with ICE and the level of funding that they're getting.
100%.
They're really trying to create a national police force answerable to one person.
That's exactly what they're doing.
And I have to, and it's just one other thing. They had an article today that Hegseth, the defense secretary, has stalled a lot of one-star flag promotions. So in the Navy, it's going from captain to admiral. In the Marines or Army, it's going from colonel, full bird colonel, to a brigadier general. And we have a process in the military where we've got highly credentialed individuals who are making these decisions about who to promote. Everybody understands the system. These are people who've been in for 20 years or longer, Nate. And to have this civilian decide that, I think you're too supportive of DEI.
It's nuts. Or you are a DEI candidate. Do you know, like, I heard Malcolm Gladwell say this. You know how hard it is to rise up to the top of these military organizations It is the ultimate meritocracy. You have to be proven day in and day out to be someone who's valid, courageous, and hyper intelligent. And to get to the pinnacle of your career and be told, you know what, you're out of here because you're a woman or because you're black.
It's like, how dare you?
It's so racist. It's so
And it's
openly racist.
It's
demoralized. If you talk to the military leadership right now, white, black, brown, or otherwise, they are furious at Hegseth off the record. They think that he is destroying meritocracy in the military because he's punishing people, assuming they're not qualified because of their race or their gender.
By the way, and we also have the whole thing. Remember under Bill Clinton, don't ask, don't tell about gays?
Yeah.
You know, you had all this political blowback about it. When you actually spoke with the troops, Nate, they didn't care.
Who would care?
All they want to know is, can you do your job?
Another cowardly move by Bill Clinton, by the way.
By the way, women in the Navy, by the way, I was surprised by this stat. 20% of the sailors in the Navy are women. And then you look at the number of women in command positions, not very much at all.
I believe it. News, Trump is irate and wants heads to roll over America 250 cancer constellations.
Is reportedly irate.
Concert, not cancer.
Concert cancellations.
Almost everyone canceled on.
You're getting all worked up.
Everybody canceled on him. Who wants to be this? It's a birthday party for him. Nobody wants to be part of this.
Yeah,
it's gross. Trump is done. He's washed. Okay, it's over. It's over.
President Trump says he will abide by a recent court ruling temporarily blocking his $1.8 billion weaponization fund.
Don't forget, Nate, this happened in 1976. This was just like 2 years, slightly less than 2 years from when Richard Nixon walked away from the presidency in disgrace.
The stuff that Trump is doing in real time, the slush fund attempt, all of this makes Tricky Dick Nixon look like a saint.
It's true.
It's like this is a whole nother level of debauchery and criminality. Nixon wouldn't have dared do this. And I think that the mistake of Democrats are making, you think it's going to snap back quick? I don't think so. What I'm afraid of is, I'm saying you should vote for Democrats, all right? Don't mistake what I'm saying. What I'm afraid of is that you're going to have an OTB situation. They're just going to do it themselves. They're going to get rid of Trump and say, let's do the same. Look at all the stuff he did. Let's do the same crazy stuff for our team. And that's the real danger. Are the Democrats going to have the willpower to say, we're not going to, just become as corrupt as he is?
I got no signal on my screen.
I'll fix it. Go ahead and talk.
Right.
So what do you think of that threat, Tony?
What threat?
The threat that possibly we've entered a new era of bipartisan corruption, because that's what it seems to be most of the case. Once the precedent is set, or the standard is set, both sides seem more than willing to be corrupt.
Well, let me give you this example from my business. Okay. We do financial advising, right? We manage assets for people. As you know, the market has gone up, probably 53% over the past 3 years. All right. So our asset base is growing just because the market's moving up, whether or not we bring new clients in the door. Okay. So you may look at that top line growth and say, wow, business is doing great. But, that growth in the market and assets may be masking the fact that you have a very weak marketing program. You're with me so far? So I think with Democrats, it's like a strong market. The equivalent of that is all the stuff that Trump is doing that's coming out with all these executive orders. If they think people are going to be voting for them and it's going to be off to the races just because they're not Trump, they are sorely mistaken.
Agreed.
In order for them to get people behind them, first of all, there are different constituencies they have to work with. For younger people, they're leaning more towards socialism because they feel our capitalistic system hasn't delivered for them.
Let me ask you a question about capitalism. We have an assumption. Listen, my brother was showing me his son's Japanese textbook the other day.
Really?
And it says in very clear language in the textbook, capitalism is the current system. It is extremely flawed. It creates high levels of waste, short-term profits, and no long-term goals. Therefore, we are waiting for the next system that will help humanity reach its higher goals. This is what it said in like plain speak. In America, the tech we learn, and every culture is different, that capitalism is the ultimate form of human existence and that there should be no further thought about it. It's a settled issue, and that it's a religion. And if you believe in anything else, that we can ever do anything a little bit different, you are actually an enemy of the state.
Well, Winston Churchill said that the American system is the worst system, except for all the others. And I think he also mentioned that capitalism is the unequal sharing of wealth, and socialism is the equal.
Well, MLK was a socialist. Martin Luther King was an open socialist. Jesus Christ, how are you going to argue that Jesus Christ did not demonstrate at least communal principles? I could go on and on about all the people. I think Orwell ended his life as a socialist. Socialism believes that it doesn't believe that we should have everything in common and all wealth in common. It believes that we should have a society that the labor is rewarded in a way that makes life livable. Not that just capital or capital interests, or those of the capitalists or those who control society, should have a say in what's good, but people that are producing on all levels should have a say in the future of their society.
Well, what I can tell you, and I sent you a text on this today, so I'm just going to read a little bit off of this. These are the main reasons I believe why the public is disenchanted with the way things are today. First, workers lack bargaining power. If you go back 50 years and you look at the number of people who are able to be unionized or organized, it is down very significantly from where it was back then. So they don't, human capital is sort of disenfranchised at this point. Okay?
Absolutely.
Next, we look at the tax code. The tax code is favoring corporations. Now, what's happened again over the recent past is that corporate tax rates have come down dramatically. And there's been more profitability. Now, on the other side of that, the only reason I can pay you more, Nate, is if you are more productive. Got that? Right?
Right.
You can knock off more widgets. I'm happy to pay you more. You're knocking off less. I'm going to pay you less. Bottom line is, since about 1980 or so, the productivity rate has gone up much faster than the rate of wages.
Because they realize they have no desire or need to pay people. They can exploit them because there's no rule stopping them from exploitation.
So you've got that happening. And then you've got the financial markets. Now, the financial markets are booming because, again, they want to back off on some of the regulation. They want to inject speculation into the system with a lot of the crypto and digital currencies. And so people who have these things are they're doing well. As a matter of fact, in the 1990s, Clinton came out with a capital gains waiver for homes. So if you own a house,
right,
or
you sell your house and you don't have
$250, $250 gain exclusion, single.
So make it simple. Make it simple for me, Tony. You're saying that the capital markets are doing what to regular people?
Well, the capital markets are fantastic if you're participating in them. The problem is most people are not participating in them because they're just making enough to keep their nose above water and to try and manage their debt. That's the problem.
The problem is listen, I'm going to make it simpler than all these things you're saying. The problem is the American dream, by every single statistic, is no longer working. People are not able to change their circumstances no matter how hard they work. Okay, you can talk. I saw Kevin O'Leary the other day complaining about young people spending $27 on lunch and wondering why they're not getting ahead. That is not the reason people are not getting ahead. They're not getting. The guy's I want to punch him in the face. The reason people are not getting ahead is because the system is designed to take all their capital from them and exploit their labor. This is a difficult situation. And the old argument is, well, they're in a better shape than they are in other countries. Certainly the case. Is that the standard you want to measure people by? But how bad we should be, as bad as it is in, I don't know, the Congo or something? No, we are the greatest country in the world. This is the place where people should be able to jump up if they work hard and show, extreme talent. That doesn't exist.
Right.
And beyond that, we also want to live in a place where, hey, even if you have no talent, we shouldn't treat you like you're cannon fodder that should be ground up into Soylent Green. You should have a chance to have a basics life. You're still a human being that's part of the team, aren't you? And so like this like winner takes all, destroy everybody. No one gets a chance to grow unless your family's rich. The number one factor determining whether someone's wealthy in America is how rich your parents were. It's not even close. That's by far the number one factor. That is the antithesis of what the American dream was supposed to be.
And that's not where we came from.
No, if it was the case, I'd be broke. I would have no future.
I'd be moving in with you.
It'd be like the Odd Couple.
Yeah. No, but it's true. I think one of the most powerful forces in the universe, Nate, is hope. And that's been the great harbinger of the American system, right? Yes. There was hope for better life, if not for you, then for your kids.
And that's going away, and we got to bring it back. That's what the Democrats need to focus on. All right, let's stop. I want to try to keep this underneath an hour. Is that okay?
Hey, that's great with me.
All right, we'll see you soon.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.